In this city, like so many others, thousands wake up each day to start their routine. But for some, like Carlos, the sunrise marks the beginning of a daily battle that few understand. 3 years ago, at 45, his life changed forever when he heard the words, end-stage renal failure. A normal day became the day that split his life in two, before and after. The doctor's words echoed as the world seemed to stop. How could he tell his family his kidneys had failed? That he would need dialysis 3 times a week just to stay alive. The first time Carlos saw the dialysis machine, it felt like surrendering his life to a cold, unknown apparatus. For hours connected, 3 times a week, doing what his kidneys no longer could, cleaning his blood. Time takes on a different meaning when you're hooked up to a machine. Each minute feels like an hour, and each hour, a day. But the hardest part wasn't the physical pain, the nausea, or the extreme fatigue. It was seeing the question in his children's eyes, when will you be the old dad again? His wife, Carmen, became his rock, his strength. With just a look, she'd say, "We are in this together." Slowly, Carlos discovered he wasn't alone. In the dialysis center, amidst the machines and monitors, a silent brotherhood of warriors existed. There was Don Pedro, 70 years old and 5 years on dialysis, sharing his wisdom with a smile. Ana, just 25, waiting for a transplant while painting vibrant canvases. And Miguel, who never spoke of his illness but always brought candy for everyone. Of course, there were dark days. Days when the tunnel seemed endless, when even breathing was an effort. Days, he wondered, why keep fighting? The disease doesn't just change your body. It changes your mind, your dreams, your hope. The turning point came when he saw Ana get the call. "We have a compatible kidney." In that moment, Carlos understood. Hope isn't a passive feeling, it's a daily choice. That night, he started writing. Not about the pain, but about the small moments of beauty he'd stopped noticing. His children's laughter, the sunrise from the center's window, the quiet dedication of the nurses. Day by day, Carlos began to turn his ordeal into a purpose. He started sharing his story online, a message in a bottle cast into the digital sea. And responses came from all over the world, from people fighting their own invisible battles. "Thank you for giving me a voice," they wrote. "Thank you for making me feel less alone." Then, after 2 long years on the waiting list, his call came. A possible compatible kidney. There, the very place that had witnessed so much struggle, now erupted in a celebration of hope. In that moment of profound vulnerability, heading into surgery, Carlos realized that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but moving forward despite it. Waking up, his first feeling was gratitude. Gratitude for the anonymous donor, for the doctors, for his family, and for his fellow warriors. The fistula scar on his arm would remain a permanent reminder of his journey, a story of pain, but also of incredible resilience. 6 months later, Carlos returned to the dialysis center, not as a patient, but as living proof that miracles can happen. And even when they don't, the dignity with which we face our battles is what defines us. His story didn't end with the transplant. No. In many ways, it had just begun. A second chance to cherish what he once took for granted. What Carlos learned is that life is fragile, but also incredibly resilient. Our bodies may fail, but our spirits have an amazing capacity to find light in the deepest darkness. Right now, thousands like Carlos are connected to dialysis machines, waiting for transplants, fighting invisible health battles. We can't see these struggles from the outside, but we can choose compassion. Perhaps, we can even be part of the solution by registering as organ donors or simply supporting those who fight. Because in the end, we are all warriors in our own battles, and we all deserve to live with dignity, purpose, and hope.